All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right, this is the Gateway Board of School Directors regular board meeting Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. I hear a roll call, please. Ms. Easha.
Yes. Mr. Bova. Mrs. Cerrucci.
Here.
Mrs. Delaney.
Here.
Mrs. McBride.
Here.
Ms. Mongo, is she in attendance?
She's still on her way, I believe.
Okay.
She was in attendance.
Mr. Ritter.
For a professional driver. She's
Dr. Singh.
Here.
Mrs. Warnick.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Here. Thank you, ma'am. Do we have any comments from residents on agenda items?
No one signed up in advance.
No one signed up? Very good. Let's move on to Section A, minutes of previous meetings.
Section A, minutes of previously held meetings. Mr. Schott?
Thank you, Dr. Short. Go back to that. Section A, minutes of previously held meetings. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors approves the minutes of the following previously held meetings as depicted below.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Williams, seconded by Ms. McBride. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. 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 Opposed? Beautiful. Let's keep it going.
All right.
Thank you.
Section B.
Section
Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors approves sections B1 list of bills, B2 financial reports, and B3 budget transfers as listed in section B at the Tuesday, June 21st, 2022 regular board meeting. Please note that we did add an additional section B1 list of bills for the month of June 2022 after a study session meeting. And we also added a section B2 financial statements for the month of May 2022 that also after a study session meeting. We present all these sections this evening for the board's approval.
So moved.
Second.
That was motion made by Mr. Williams, seconded by Dr. Singh. Any questions on that motion? Nope. Roll call, please, Bonnie.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Aye.
Mrs. Delaney.
Aye.
Mrs. McBride.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Dr. Singh.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Bova.
Aye.
And Robin has not arrived yet, is that correct?
No.
No, she's on.
Ms. Mongo?
She was on. Maybe she's on.
Oh,
Oh,
there
did you see her?
Ms. Mongo.
She's driving. Give her a minute to pull over and chime in.
I do see she's on Zoom.
She is.
Yeah, she's on.
Hi, can you hear me?
There she is.
You are,
Yay.
thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And the ayes have.
Right.
All right, let's go.
Section C, items previously tabled. I don't believe we have it.
We have none.
Moving on to section D, personnel agenda. Mrs. Crump?
Thank you, Dr. Short. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors accepts and approves the personnel agenda items 1 through 7 as listed in section B for the regular board meeting of Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. Under resignations, we have 5 listed, one which was added after the study session. Under leave of absence, we have 1 additional since the study session. Under section 3, there are 4 transfers for the collective bargaining agreement. Under section 4, we are requesting approval for the following: a literacy program, an additional extended school year teachers, also extended school year paraprofessionals. We're requesting an appointment of a credit recovery cyber coordinator and 5 teachers to that program, along with 30 event workers. We are also asking for approval for the Act 93 and Act 93 salaries for the 2022-23 school year, along with supplementals for the fall of 2022. And under section 7 for volunteers, we have 7 listed.
So moved.
I have a question.
We need a second first.
Okay.
Second.
Second, yeah.
That was motion made by Mr. Williams, seconded by Ms. Warning. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So what does it mean when it says
summer program at the rate of $1,500. So like for the whole program or per hour, or how does it work?
That would be for the course that the individual instructor would be teaching. Yes.
Thank you.
I also had a question. The early literacy program teachers, what exactly is this program?
We have extended school year and early literacy, both programs.
Extended, but I didn't know we had this one.
Yes, they both work in tandem together.
Oh, okay.
That's to help some of the kids that don't quite qualify for extended school year with their IEPs.
The special,
But they need a little,
oh, okay, I didn't know that. Oh, IEP has it.
right, but this is, yeah.
What's happening over there? Anything we could hear or no?
Go ahead, you're good.
She's explaining it, which would, actually, what you said would be good to say a little bit
Sorry,
louder.
Ms. McBride. It was fun.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, I guess I just wanted to be clear.
That other program is for the kids that don't qualify for ESY, but they need a little bit of help, so we don't want to kind of lose them in the process, so.
And how do they qualify? Well, who selects or how does that work? I know how the IEP with the extended school year, but
It's recommendations done by staff to parents and then the option of the child to participate happens to.
okay. Yeah, I just didn't know we had it.
Yeah, nice program. That way you don't lose
Is that the only question, Dr. Singh?
Yes.
little help.
All right, I have a roll call. Bonnie?
Mrs. Delaney,
Aye.
Mrs. McBride,
Aye.
Ms. Mongo. Mongo. Robin,
Aye.
Mr. Ritter,
Aye.
Dr. Singh,
Aye.
Mrs. Warning,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Bova,
Aye.
Mrs. Cerucci.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving along, section E, conferences. Dr. Rossi?
Thank you, Dr. Short. Approve and conventions as listed in section E. There are 3 of them.
Dr. Rossi, could you repeat that? We lost you there.
Short, approve and authorize the following conferences and conventions as listed, and there are 3 listed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Williams, second by Ms. Warning. Any questions on those 3 conference attendees? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Beautiful. Move on to section F, please.
Administrative report, elementary education, educational agreements. Dr. Rossi?
Item number 1 is approve the following agreements as listed. There are 6 agreements listed. Item number 2 is to approve the MOU with the Allegheny Intermediate Unit Head Start and Pre-K Counts Program. Item number 3 is to approve the proposal for Personalized Learning 2, a joint venture between Carnegie Mellon University and Remake Learning for after-school tutoring. Item number 4 is the final approval of the EverFi digital content that is placed on public display. Item number 5 is approval for the district to pursue the flexible instructional day as outlined by the PA Department of Education. Item number 6, approve the agreement with Navigate 360 for its online training institute.
Item number 7, approval of the final cafeteria fund budget for the 22-23 fiscal year in the amount of $2,104,000. Item number 8, approval of final general fund budget for the 22-23 fiscal year. I will read this resolution in its entirety. Approve and adopt the final general fund budget for the 22-23 fiscal year in the amount of $92,509,000, reflecting an increase in expenditures of $4,918,000, or 5.61% greater than the general fund budget for the 21-22 fiscal year. The final general fund budget does include a 4.10% increase in the district's real estate tax millage rate. Thus, the real estate tax millage rate will increase from 20.8914 mils by 0.8565 mils to 21.7479 mils for the 22-23 fiscal year. The 21.7479 mils is the equivalent of $2.17479 on each $100 of assessed valuation of taxable real estate property in the district. Please note, the district is required to utilize $4,830,000 of unassigned fund balance in order to balance the entire general fund budget for the 22-23 fiscal year. Of that amount, $505,000 is being utilized to offset expenditures and to eliminate the remaining budget deficit for the 22-23 fiscal year. Item number 9, approval of the homestead farmstead exclusion real estate tax assessment reduction for 2022. That is in the actual dollar amount of $235.61, or an assessed value reduction of $10,833.69 for each of the approved homestead properties for the 2022, and that total amount is 7,822 properties. Item number 10, approval of payment of the Section B1 list of bills for the month of July 2022. Item number 11, renewal of waterfront learning services agreement, District Cyber School, Allegheny Intermediate Unit number 3 for the 22-23 fiscal year. That's depicted in Exhibit J and J-1. Item number 12, extension of the current liquid propane gas service agreements with Feral Gas for the upcoming 23-24 fiscal year. Item number 13, agreement for continued participation in the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services administered school-based access program for the 22-23 fiscal year. Still have not received that exhibit yet from them. Item number 14, award of bread and bakery vendor product bid, cafeteria fund for the 22-23 fiscal year for Nichols Bakery, as depicted in Exhibit L. Item number 15, the approval of purchases and payments for various department items during the current 21-22 fiscal year, as depicted below. Item number 16, approval of the Tricog Land Bank's notice of proposed property disposition for one Monroeville property located within the Gateway School District, as depicted in Exhibit M. Item number 17, approval of the extension of term of Eastern Area Special Schools restage joint venture agreement for Sunrise School for the 22-23 and the 23-24 fiscal years, as depicted in Exhibit N. Item number 18, approval of Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV federal funds preliminary allocation amounts for the 22-23 fiscal year, as depicted below. Item number 19, sale, giveaway, and or dispose as applicable old equipment, furniture, and various other miscellaneous items that are no longer serviceable for the district during the upcoming 22-23 fiscal year. Item number 20, acceptance of district donations received during the 21-22 fiscal year. And those are the two as depicted. We did have a change on the Argo AI donation previously at the study session meeting. That was listed as $4,500, has since been the actual donation amount of $2,500. And as I previously mentioned at the previous study session meeting, we have the addition of the Heinz Arconic Foundation check amount of $1,500 also going into support of the high school robotics club. That
Thank you,
concludes section
Mr.
F.
Schott.
Thank
So
you.
moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Williams, seconded by Ms. Warning. Questions, please.
Item number 19, so we're selling, giving away, are some of those things computers?
Well, this was more of a blanket type resolution to cover various things that will come up. How we've done this in the past is items that may be kind of queued up to go. We would report that to the board ahead of time for that, but it just gives us the ability to move forward with items for that. But any items that would be moved would be reported to the board prior to actual disposition of those items.
Okay.
I have a question for Dr. Rossi. What is this Navigate 360 for the Alice? It's number 6.
And Navigate 360 is the licensed online digital training for Alice.
So
So,
only 3, like it says quantity 3.3.
We have 2 of them on there. There's one for the non-public and then one for the district. So it would be for the district faculty and staff in-person training.
And they have access to this training for as long as this contract?
Yes,
Okay,
Be
so,
a little more than a year. We should have access to it.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question on item number 8. I think this is the point which people in the community look at. And like I have a cutting from 1 year ago in our Monroeville Times Express. And the heading is Gateway School Board OK's budget with 3.6% tax hike. And the increase is, and plus the budget increase is because of the construction. So when the construction ends, does the budget goes back a little? And we expect now the headline will say 4.1% increase. So is it a trend we are seeing every year? Will it see some increase?
If I may jump in, the 3.6% was specifically related to the initial increase in the issuance of the bonds. That is correct. But as far as the 4.1% increase that is depicted this evening, it's not directly related to that. So, for instance, your inquiry that as the construction progresses, that would automatically equate to tax increases. That is not the case. In this particular case, there is a myriad of items that we have that have increased, as well as our number one real estate assessed and tax property in District Monroeville Mall. We're expecting that official decrease in assessed value to come to fruition during the current calendar year. So there's a lot of moving pieces involved in that related to why the tax increase was necessary. I will note, and I'm sure Dr. Short would jump in as well, that this budget does keep every program intact in the district. We did not have to reduce any programs or program offerings to any of the students, which is a very good thing and a very good result of the process. But again, unfortunately, various expenditures all coming at us at once, 8% in healthcare increase, as well as a myriad of other aspects contributed to the overall deficit that's being experienced for the upcoming 22-23 fiscal year.
And I'd just like to remind people that we had a number of budget meetings, multitude of slides, some of which, one of the slides I remember actually had the history year after year of years we had tax increases and years we didn't. We discussed at length the difficulty of hiring and retaining personnel because I'm sure you've noticed in the paper, people are in great demand. Everything costs more. Inflation has affected us as much as it does anyone else. This is painful. This is hard. But we don't want to cut programs. We don't want to ignore the buildings and the cost it takes to keep them going. And again, we had 3, very detailed meetings about almost every one of these costs, and Mr. Schott has sent us details of the budget itself, where you could take a look line after line of where the money is going. The last part of this puzzle that's difficult, and Ms. Cerrucci brought this to my attention again, we have to have our budget submitted.
You're stealing my thunder.
I'm sorry, I have nothing else to say. I'd like to ask Mr.
Stealing my thunder.
Go ahead, Ms. Cerrucci. I'm sorry.
You get to have a Mary Beth Cerrucci vent right now about state government, right? Because state government has to pass their budget the end of June. In that budget is education funding. School boards have to pass their budget end of June before we know what the education funding is going to be. Now, I just want to read you one quote, okay? Hang on. I have it already, Mr. Boba. On May 2nd, the governor announced that Pennsylvania collected $6.5 billion in general fund revenue in April, which was 1.8 billion with a B, or 38.7% over estimate. And that is the most tax revenue ever collected in a single month. Yes, I said month, in a single month. The governor said, After this month's collections, Pennsylvania revenues are so far ahead of estimate that we already have the money in the bank to pay for the historic investment I want to make in K-12 education. We don't know what that number is. I hope the governor holds to this commitment and that the state legislative bodies make a historic investment in education. But it is very frustrating for me to sit here and vote yes on a tax increase to you when you've already historically paid more than ever to the state who's sitting on that money. Now, this isn't a gripe at our administration because they have to have a balanced budget, right? So I can't get mad at Mr. Schott, Dr. Short, or my school board members for supporting this because everybody's trying to do the right thing. But I'm just going to make a plea for Harrisburg to maybe look at just a slight tweak of the timelines, or maybe give us a little more idea of how much you're going to give us before we have to pass our budget. And that is all she wrote.
And also, thank you, Mary Beth. We have that conversation daily. I've had phone calls, Zoom meetings with the governor, and we're anxiously awaiting, and hopefully we see something soon. But to echo what Mr. Schott was identifying with the question from Dr. Singh, I believe, Paul, 6 years ago, the reassessment of the Monroeville Mall came in, and the district, out of the fund balance, had to refund a check of $1.2 million.
That's correct.
And here we are again, anticipating another reassessment, which will again have some cost to it. We've seen the mall, we see what's going on or not going on at the mall, and they need to reinvent themselves. But understand that there are other areas of Monroeville that are thriving, the Miracle Mile and areas of 22. So hopefully they're able to do something with the mall, but until then, we have to prepare for that. Go ahead.
Any other questions?
I just have one comment. On 17 with Sunrise, the contract that they had expired at the end of June. It will expire at the end of June. There's 2 schools that are going to be pulling out, which is causing...
School districts. Yes.
Yes, the school districts that are pulling out. This is supposed to somehow change the jointure agreement, and right now, that's why we are extending it for 2 more years, hoping that we can come to some agreement with the 2 schools that are looking to pull out. But Gateway is staying part of it because we have a lot of work yet to do at Sunrise with the roof that we were trying to get everything taken care of, which they did win the lawsuit. So we're just hoping it's a great program and we don't want to lose it. That's all.
Let's move Sunrise to Moss Side in a couple years.
We talked about it. We have 9 students. They house right now 132 students with a waiting list.
How many schools?
They have, there's 8 in the jointure, but they have probably 15 other schools that send students there.
Do you know what the max capacity for enrollment is there off the top of your head? I'm not trying to.
Right now, it's 132.
That's all?
That's it.
That's all they can fit?
Well, you can only have so many kids in a classroom.
That's true.
And right now, because of the rooms that have been affected by the roof, there's 2 to 3 classrooms that are not being able to be used. So as soon as that's fixed, hopefully they can open up those classrooms and put more kids in.
My wheels are turning.
That's okay. Oh, I know, we could use it.
Leslie, you say Monroeville Mall.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes?
No.
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 Okay, do we have a roll call, please, Bonnie?
Mrs. McBride,
Aye.
Mongo. Robin,
Here she is, I can see her. Robin, can you hear us?
Yes.
thank you.
Yep, she said aye.
Mr. Ritter,
Aye. He also said aye.
Dr. Singh,
Aye.
Mrs. Warning,
Aye for all except 16.
Nice, I knew it.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Bova,
Aye.
Mrs. Cerrucci,
Aye for all except number 8.
and Mrs. Delaney.
Thank Thank you. The ayes seem to have it.
Ready to move on, huh?
Ready to move on.
Moving on.
Now, do we have any comments from residents on non-agenda items?
I have a question that's an agenda thing. Am I allowed to ask a question?
Sure, absolutely. So I have decreed.
So
So it shall be.
Okay.
You only get 3 minutes though.
Cheryl Boyce, I know that. Cheryl Boyce, Mary Beth, thank you for bringing up about the state because that is a thorn, it should be a thorn in everybody's side about the funding because constitutionally, if anybody still believes in that, the responsibility for education in the Commonwealth is the state. And you're just an offshoot of that, which leads me to John. John, are you not the representative from the Gateway School District for the School Board Association? Do you represent us in relationship to the School Board Association in Harrisburg?
Yes.
Okay. Are you going to do anything about this funding flow? This isn't right the way it's been. It's not fair that this school district has to do their budget while they're sitting in Harrisburg on a ton of money, and we're one of the few states. We have a lot of other states in the country that are better at funding their schools than Pennsylvania. This has got to stop.
I'll take care of it.
Will you take care of it? No, I mean, seriously, you're paying dues to belong to the School Board Association, and they need to go to these people. They have lobbyists there that you're paying for.
I believe 46th or 47th in the nation as far as funding.
What's 46th? I don't know where we are now.
And, it's different if we didn't have it. Then we could have that conversation why, but Mary Beth's right. This is ridiculous. This has got to stop.
You're jumping a little bit ahead. If it's okay with Jack, I'm just going to jump ahead and sort of slide into a board resolution.
Let's do it.
In order for me to serve, or any of us, to serve as a liaison, we have to go there with some ideas or thoughts or asks. So every year, a delegate is named from the school board members, and we or one of us gets to go out there and make speeches or make requests or frame arguments or propose priorities. So with the 2023-2024 Legislative Priority Survey just came out today in the PSBA Advocacy Mail, so I got that. There are 8 things that are on this survey, and they want us to rank them as being highest. Now, if this board wants to, they could tell John to go out there and say, listen, the Gateway School District would really, really, really like the state legislature to finish their work so that school boards can make their budgets. So if we want to rank that high or low or not at all, then we instruct me to carry that ask or that sense out there. So in a moment, I'm going to make a motion that we name me as our delegate so I get to go out there in November and make this sort of presentation. Now, there's another piece to this puzzle, and that is the delegate assembly is going to get together and not only elect the next treasurer and secretary and president and vice president, which they do all the time, but then we get to work on the legislative priority booklet. We get to put thoughts into that. This board did this about 6 years ago, and I went out there and knocked on the door and I said, we need to concentrate on healthcare related stuff. And they said, no, John, the business of schools is education, not healthcare related stuff. So I was pretty brokenhearted about that, and lo and behold, COVID, which is a healthcare related thing, interrupted education. We also have opioids and mental health and all these other types of non-educational related things to think about. So I'm disappointed that the legislature is not focusing solely on education but not healthcare. So they're starting to come around a little bit now, but they still need some help from folks like me who have like a technology background. I can bring the technology component. Others need to bring the social services, social determinants of health, other mental health, needs for nursing, and on and on. All these other things need to be brought forward so we can instruct the PSBA to knock on the door of the legislators and say, this is who the school board members are, this is who we are, this is who we represent, and this is what we want you to do and be. So that the legislature can not just walk into the legislative, the House of Representatives and the Senate and talk about things they're not sure about. They can say, our school board directors have demanded that we do X, Y, and Z. So that gives me the teeth and us the teeth to have that voice that you're hoping, that Mary Beth and others are hoping to have in Harrisburg. So when I say I handle it, that's tongue in cheek. We are one school district of 500, but we need to have a collective voice in order to make this argument and hold our legislators' feet to the fire so that we can reward them for doing well and hold them accountable for not doing well and dragging their feet. So does that answer your question?
John, I've been doing this for 30 years. Thank you for explaining that to them. I already know that. But what I wanted to do is tell you this. The number one answer to all of this is money. Money. Because money will get you everything, and they're sitting on a ton of money. If they weren't, that would be a different ballgame. And we're very blessed in our community to do that, but I have no problem getting on the phone and calling someone. I don't care. This is nuts. This has gone far enough because of COVID, because of the things the districts have had to do. They need to put that, and I think that's part of that federal money is still out there somewhere, isn't it? So the federal gift money comes from us, which we're paying for, right, for COVID relief to help the kids get back on track, and Harrisburg is sitting on this. I don't care what party they belong to. Get off your butts and give the districts the money so that we don't have to have a tax increase because you're sitting on it.
That's right.
You're sitting on it. That's not okay. So for anybody out there who's mad at Gateway to raise the taxes,
Call Brandon Markosic.
your legislators. Call your legislators. It's their fault.
And throw in charter school reform too, please.
Well, whatever. I mean, I can think of a million things they could spend money on, but, John, I just wanted to make sure the School Board Association gets off their duff too and make sure the money flows, because this is crazy. This should never happen like this.
Very good, thank you.
You're very welcome.
John, do you enjoy that position? Do you like doing that
So I'm going to answer it yes and no. Yes, I like coming up with ideas that work. That's my software engineering background. You come up with an idea that works and you build it and you put it forward. And then you hope people get it and use it and benefit by it. When you see that people are not getting it, not benefiting by it, it's very, very frustrating. Like COVID. Was COVID frustrating? Yes. Is it an education concern? No, it's a health concern. But we have to have health and education married together. I and many others see that. Some folks in Harrisburg don't see that. And it was pushed into their faces, and now they're wondering what's going on with schools. Do they just need more money? Do they need different protocols? Do they need healthcare devices? Do they need better communications? What do they need? In other words, they're just people, and that's okay, and they're not experts in education. We're the experts in education. We can tell them what we need and why.
so how do we appoint you to this, or do you just?
I'm gonna make a motion here in a moment that says the Gateway School Board designates John Ritter to serve as the appointed delegate to the 2022 PSBA Delegate Assembly in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, to be held Saturday, November 5th. The event will incur no cost to the Gateway School District, but we'll get to that when we have board resolutions. And Bonnie, I'll email that to you so you don't have to.
Thank you.
Here's an idea. Let's have board resolutions. Go ahead, John.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Good, John.
Second.
So do we have a first and a second?
You read it.
John's the first, Mary Beth is the second.
Bonnie, did you hear that? John made the motion.
Yep.
Ms. Cerrucci seconded. All in favor, say aye. Oh, sorry, any questions?
Oh, yeah.
No? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Now, the second part of this is that this Gateway School Board gets to do, that you get to tell me what to do, what notion to carry out there. So a future motion is going, after we've had a nice discussion with folks from the public and internal and other staff members, I'm going to make a future motion in a little while that's going to say something like this. The Gateway School Board submits the following proposed language for consideration for inclusion in the Pennsylvania School Board Association's 2023 legislative platform. The language will be submitted before close of business on July 22 via PSBA's designated online form. In other words, we get to make some model language and propose it. We have about a month to do that, come up with 1 or 2 or 3 nice ideas, and then put them out there on behalf of the Gateway School Board. So I can't propose that we send that language yet. We have to come up with a language. So that'll be like in July's meeting. We'll come up with some good language. We don't have a meeting in July?
Probably will.
Having a meeting in July.
You said we probably will. Around what time?
Week of the 25th.
Oh, okay, I'll be back.
All right, so what I'm going to do on behalf of the board is I'm going to start to begin that survey of the top 8 priorities that the PSBA can tackle. I'll screen scrape those, toss them to the board here and say, okay, you guys all arrange them the way you think as to what's the highest priority. I'll sort of average all that out and I'll say Gateway's top 3 priorities are A, B, and C. And then I'll fashion that into our little piece of language here and say, these are the things that we are most concerned about here in the school district. If we can come up with solutions that are proposed language to that, that's okay too. I'll pound that in and send it out. And then the people in Harrisburg, the other school board members, will get it and they'll chew on it, they'll polish it, they'll merge it with other ideas from the other end of the state, and they'll come up with some proposed language for the battle plan for the 23-24 legislative priority handbook. That's how that works.
Awesome. Great job, Mr. Ritter.
Thank you, Mr. Ritter. Wonderful job.
Okay, so do we need a motion? Can we make a motion that John will just accept? The motion will be the school board submits the language to yet to be developed for consideration and inclusion in the PSBA's legislative platform. In other words, we allow ourselves the ability to come up with it. So I'm going to make that motion.
Second.
How'd you have all that on there that fast?
Bonnie, did you get that? John Ritter made that motion and Mary Beth seconded it.
Thank you, yes.
Mr. Ritter is very thorough. He takes this position very seriously, and he does an excellent job.
He does, yeah.
Do we have any questions aside from everyone telling John what a great job he's doing?
He does.
Do we have any questions for John?
No, just add charter school reform to that, Mr. Ritter.
Very good.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, so John, we're going to circle back to you if you have board committee reports, and we're going to get to the superintendent report.
Real quick, it's gone off. I'd like to announce that our Director of Human Resources position is open once again. We've had the candidate that was board approved resign from that position effective today. So we are currently accepting resumes and applications. In order to do so, it will be posted once again on the district website. So with that, look forward to having an individual come forward, and wish everyone a great summer. Happy 4th of July. That's all I have.
Thank you. Listen, John, let's get right to you.
That was it.
That's all you got.
I'm done.
I'm looking this way. Oh, Robin, I see you up there. How about Ms. Mungo?
Nothing,
Nothing.
unless you want to fix my tire.
Where are you? I will be right there. Where are you? Looks like you're in there. Where are you?
Looks like she's in school.
She does. Did you stop at a different school?
I'm at my school. I'm at my.
I'll be right down. We'll wrap this up. I'll be on my way. Scotty Williams, anything?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Dr. Singh?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Ms. McBride?
Actually, I see some teachers here from different schools. How was the fun days at the end of the school years? You wanna
To the people in the audience?
elaborate a little bit and let them know what a good job everybody did and a little bit about what the kids did? I know.
The weather was perfect. That makes an excellent fun day. A lot of help, a lot of staff.
Could you go to the microphone so the folks at home can hear you, please?
Just waiting.
Just let her go. Seriously.
Yeah.
No pressure.
People like to hear from the teachers.
Pardon me.
People like to hear from the teachers.
Especially the good stuff. Grant?
That's the good what's on that paper.
I can't hear.
Anything you guys particularly liked, enjoyed in the activities that?
Every time they have stations that are pre-planned out and a really good schedule to follow, it always works well. So thank you all volunteers.
Sorry to put you on the spot. I was there for the educational run, but I wasn't able to make it for the others, so sorry to put you on the spot.
That's it.
And the race for education is always
Yeah, that was good.
I will say this, Ramsey had the ponies. One was in costume as a unicorn.
Oh, wait, I might have a picture of.
There was a picture of me present there that day
Yeah.
petting.
While you find that, Ms. McBride, do you have anything else?
No, that's all, thank you.
Ms. Delaney?
Yeah, I was driving by, and I saw at Cleveland Stewart School, so they've started their summer program with the kids.
Today was the first day.
The kids were out there, because it was a beautiful day anyway, and they were out there in the new equipment again, and that's just so, it's so gratifying to see our young people out there enjoying themselves on all of that. I just had to bring that up because it, as I said, it just was ecstatic to see that. Yeah, it was very nice. And then just a few other things, just little tidbits, such as June is National Fruit and Vegetable Month, so eat your fruit and vegetable particularly. And for all you men, June is also Men's Health Month, so get yourself checked. And this is for you, Miss Morning. June is also National Adopt a Cat Month. I'm sorry, I had to do that. But just on another note, just in terms of history, Joseph Haynes Rainey was the first African-American representative in the House of Representatives, born in Georgetown, South Carolina. He was the representative in 1832. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Delaney. Ms. Warning.
I have a couple things. I'm just going to piggyback off of Ms. Delaney. Last Thursday at our Rotary Luncheon, we awarded 5 of our students scholarships from the Rotary, and we have phenomenal students. I mean, it's just unbelievable. We had 96 letters that from students that applied. It was very hard to come down to the 5, and they were very deserving. Also on Saturday, I was with the Rotary when we announced Miss Independence, which they will be in the parade on July 4th, Monday. Everybody come to the parade and see our winners. And also our summer lunches. Dr. Short, did they close one of the places?
Yes, the Monroeville Park.
Number 4.
Correct. And dispersed, the other individuals who were working there have been dispersed to 3 other feeding centers.
The Pitcairn Park Building, Ramsey Playground, the Beechwood Park, and to Garden City Fire Hall.
Correct.
Number 6. And they are open 11 to 1 daily?
Yes.
Okay, so any students that may need anything, please visit those spots. Another question. Our cyber classes for this upcoming year, are we continuing to have those in-house? Yes. Okay. All right, just wondering. And I'm just going to ask the board if anybody is not in agreement of sending out a survey to see parents' thoughts of going without cell phones for our students this year. I wanted to ask our administrators to put a survey together and ask the parents looking not to have cell phones this school year if anybody is in disagreement of doing that.
I think the question is, anyone have a problem with sending a survey to the community, a survey concerning restricting student use of cell phones during the school day?
All right, so let me play devil's advocate just for a second here. Is this a concern for all members of the Gateway School District or just parents? Should we collect feedback from all the citizens or just a few of the citizens, that is the parents?
Well, I would like it to go to also our teachers and administrators, everyone in the Gateway School District.
So one of the ways to do that, rather than send it through the Gateway emails or text messaging broadcast channels, put it in the local paper, the Times Express, and something like, in other words, go the extra mile so that people who are not parents and on those channels can also get to see it and make a way for them to easily respond, right?
Okay, well, we have our reporter here from the Times Express tonight, right over here. And we can talk to her afterwards. But I would just, if everybody is in agreement, if administration put out a survey, questions?
And just to be, I was going to, but you first, of course. No, you. I already
I didn't
called
mean to
it.
interrupt you, you first.
It's right here, so I get to say you go first. It's a simple system.
I think that the reason that Val brings this up is really the point of discussion. Surveying our community is good, but it's not just a yes or no about cell phones. It's that I think we all realize that some of our kids have an addiction to their cell phone, and it's a huge distraction. But it's not that way in every grade, and it's not that way in every classroom, and it's not that way for every student. Some of the students have self-control. I'm sure the teachers would sit here and say, yeah, that's true. It's not always a blanket answer, but more important than the answer is that we need to come together and come up with solutions for the problem. It's a problem. I don't think anybody would disagree that there are issues with cell phones. And we need to come up with a way to address those, whether it's individually, whether it's per building, whether it's per classroom, whatever. And that's where the input of the teachers, I think, is extremely valuable because they're the ones that are in the classroom dealing with it, the administrators who are trying to enforce it, and the parents, obviously. And it's a tough situation right now because we all saw, a recent school shooting, and parents want to be able to get a hold of their kids. So it's also a sensitive issue for parents to be able to communicate with their kids. So I think there's a bigger picture here and a bigger discussion that should be had, and all the stakeholders really should play a part of that. That's all.
And Mary Beth, can I add to that? It's not just necessarily that the kids are using their phones in classes. It also encompasses the cyberbullies and the TikTok challenges and whatever other challenges are out there. So it's just not about trying to control the classroom or the school. It's about the overall well-being and mental health of the students that comes in from the community during the day and adds fuel to that fire.
Yes. Anything to add?
Anything else? I'll get to mine when it's my turn to talk.
That should do it.
Thank you. Ms. Cerrucci.
Oh, yes, I do have something. Right, Dr. Schott mentioned Independence Day, so I had 2 wonderful trips in the last month to Washington, D.C., and in the evenings just got to walk around and look at the monuments, and it's just such an awesome experience and sense of awe to be there and realize how long some of those buildings have been there, and just look at the history and just kind of remember our foundation. And I was in the Jefferson Memorial, and the walls are full of quotes from him. And of course, there's one from the Declaration of Independence. And it says, you all know this, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. We solemnly publish and declare that these colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, and for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. I guess the point I want to bring about Independence Day is we come together as Americans, and this country needs unity, communities need unity, and our founding fathers weren't perfect, but the document itself has perfect ideas, and these are things that we strive for. So there's been mistakes in the past in our history, we all know that, but the point is that we're always constantly striving to be that free nation that has the pursuit of happiness as an option for everybody. It's not guaranteed happiness, right? It's giving everybody the opportunity to pursue that, and the freedom that ultimately, I believe that America is the greatest nation in the world, and I hope that you will all think about that, unite as Americans, and remember the principles that guide us as we all try to improve better and work toward those principles in our lives and in our government. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Cerrucci. Interestingly enough, I was in Washington, D.C. this weekend for a family thing, but it coincided with Juneteenth, which reminds us that that document certainly was not perfect, and the pursuit of happiness has been a conflicted thing for America for a long, long time. And so, but the Juneteenth thing reminded me that on Monday, the holiday was officially recognized, and our staff was working. So everyone ought to give some thought to perhaps maybe we should give the staff the opportunity to be off on Juneteenth as federal offices and so forth are by next year to celebrate Juneteenth. Just something to think about. I see Mr. Sample in the audience, which reminds me of Ms. Warning's discussion about cell phones. Just to be clear, the board has no position on this. We're beginning the conversation. And Mr. Sample has done a great job as the representative of the teachers to begin dialogue with each school. We had one meeting with the school with Ramsey before the end of the year. We plan to resume that beginning of next year. So these conversations are an opportunity for everybody to weigh in an informal way, no Robert's Rules of Order, and that's how it worked. People had ideas, they had complaints, but more ideas than complaints. I'd like to thank Mr. Sample. We plan to resume that, and there will be plenty of discussion about cell phones, and everyone has an opportunity to have their voice heard. And have a great summer, and that's all I have. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Vote in a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Have a good evening.